Hi guys, my name is Meads. This is going to be a review for the frame arms girl. We have the Hresvelgr. There's probably a proper name of saying it, but I'm saying it the way I read it. I did look it up online for that particular name because it's quite interesting. Maybe I'll get some kind of background info. I read it up on some wiki. It's actually from Norse mythology. It means the corpse swallower. It's a giant being that resembles a great eagle. Quite interesting. But other than that, this particular frame arms girl, I'm not sure her actual background or how she plays with the whole frame arms girl universe. They are coming out with anime. Maybe we'll see her there. Yep. Alright, so this is a plastic kit that you have to build on your own. If this is your first introduction to frame arms girl, they're quite great. Not too hard to build, but definitely for this one, there's quite a bit of parts. But once you get the hang of it in terms of transformation, which we'll see, it's actually fairly straightforward. Alright, so here, there's a different faces. They are pre-decaled for you, so you just have to put it on and kind of demonstrate that it's right here. They've kind of separated it, but it's already there. There is a blank piece that you can use in case you want to paint it, or just in case something messed up on it. Definitely there's a way to fix it. So you have the water slide decals here. This retails about 6,400 yen. It's about the same price as the other frame arms girl, particularly the Basilard. But there's actually quite a bit more stuff on this. Quite interesting. Here, a little bit of a preview. You got your typical frame arms girl hands. You get where everything's combined in this form. But there's a gimmick where you can turn it into this sidewinder, where she's kind of like partial combined to it. And you also have the air bike where you actually have the frame arms girl separate from the flyer. And we'll see that. You can also customize it, as always, with any frame arms kit with other Kotobuki MSG weapon sets. Definitely, you can do a lot of it. And here's the unpainted version. Because on this one, like the stripes here are the water slide, and there's certain sections here that needs to be painted. On this review, it's just going to be straight out of the box. I didn't get a chance to work on it yet. But even then, it looks great, and we'll see that on this review. Got mine from Amiami, and let's take a look. Alright, so here we go. We have the frame arms girl, and here's the air bike, or the flyer. I'm just gonna call it to that. And another cool thing is they provide you this clear base. This is probably the first time that I've seen that, which is great, and it really works out for having this on this particular kit. Alright, and let me just quickly go over the extra parts. You're definitely going to get a lot of this excess polycaps for the flesh collar. I think you only need like 2 parts here. I think that's probably just the shoulder joint. But if you're looking for spares for your other frame arms girl, there we go. And you also get a lot of this polycap A. And this is the blank face right here, just in case if you want to customize. Here's the water slide decal sheet right here. And another great thing about this is we have this wrist joint here, right? Well, the alternate forearm, you're getting an extra pair of wrist joint. I think I get comments before that they're having issues with the wrist joint breaking and they don't have a spare. This one has a spare. So it's definitely a good thing that they've added that. And they probably hear that from other people and or their fans. So I'm really happy that they've included that. So here we go. Here's a quick look at her. Actually, let's do a closer look. Alright, so definitely it's a bit plain without the extra colors. I mean, there's sections here that needs to be painted. And actually, let's take a look at this in the booklet here, over here. Definitely a lot better with those color. I just haven't got a chance to paint her, but eventually I will. And this is a little different from the other frame arms because she's wearing a swimsuit, but her waist area is a solid piece. Yeah, there is no joint there, And this kind of eliminates that problem with that waist joint, that polycap that's keep popping off for some, not all of them. So definitely we don't have that issue here, and for the most part she's quite solid overall, quite nice. Alright, and let's take a closer look at this. Really cool in terms of her headgear here. The clear parts, the purple, quite nice. Then on, actually we'll go over the articulation with that. So we have the neck here, and it's your typical, it has a sleeve on. If you pop, this actually tends to pop out from time to time, but you have that little joint right there, and it's kind of like a sleeve for the neck. But for the most part, it does its job. It's also a polycap on top there, or I mean, not a polycap, but a bowl joint on top. Yeah. But it feels like it should have go in a little bit further, but as far as it'll go down in terms of the neck. Anyways, fairly good articulation there for the neck. Then you have your shoulder here, which is a combination of a bowl joint there, so you can pop it off, and a hinge here. So there you go. Now you have the swivel here because it's a straight peg that you swap out with an alternate forearm. But you have your elbow bend right there. It's only a single joint though. Then you get your wrist joint here as well. Then for the mid section, you can rotate this. I believe it's a combination of a polycap and a hinge right there. Fairly sturdy. Now for the waist, inside there's actually kind of like a sliding plate. It's not quite the Y shape what we see in the figure arts or other kits, but you can definitely slide it down, and you can move it up. So this is great for sitting poses. And you also have this swivel here. You can detach this and combine it with other things or swap it out. You get your double jointed knee, which is great articulation right there. Then you also have your ankle right here, which you can rotate, and yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with that. She's wearing high heels. In terms of balancing her, it could be a little tricky. Definitely will be great if you have something to attach, or like a stand. There is a connection point on the back here, or even on the back of the legs. Right, so that is for the main figure. Now, looking at the fly here, there's a lot of parts. It's actually a bit overwhelming, especially when you're trying to combine. But for this, you have the main sit right here, and you have your handlebars here. Then you get this section here that goes onto the back. Yeah. Right, so to place her on this, actually, yeah, there's a lot of cool design on this one. Let's go ahead and attach the hands. I would highly suggest to put on the hands first, as opposed to having it on her hands and trying to chase that. I find that this is a lot easier to do. So go ahead and attach them. There we go. Same thing onto the other side here. Alright. Once you have that attached, we probably have to separate this and attach it to the girl. Alright, so we have the girl here. We kind of have to put her in that pose. That would be a little easier. So here we go. Move the arms forward. And maybe tilt the knees a little bit. There we go. So the foot, or the feet, goes here. There's a kind of like foot pedals here on the bottom. And we're just gonna slide her in. But let's go ahead and attach this to here. This goes onto the back. And there's also a waist, like that goes around her waist. So like a belt. So it just goes in. Now this waist here has some supposed to be painted on here. It's like a buckle, but again, this is just right outside of the box built. So you attach it there. Kind of gives it a little bit of a security, but well, not really. Then you have this connection point here, which goes here. So we're just gonna go ahead and gonna slide her in there somehow and attach this here. And definitely this kind of requires a little bit more time and patience as you move this around. Alright, so let's go ahead and position the legs. I'll get her in that. There we go. I mean, you don't really have to put the feet there, but yeah, it's just on your discretion how much you want to have it. There we go. And then we're just going to attach the wrist joint here. Again, it's a lot easier having that hand there already. There we go. And this side as well. Oh, that popped off. And just bear with me. Alright, so for the most part, there we go. We got the air bike, kind of like the flower mode. And actually, trying to get this aligned properly. There we go. I believe this, kind of like the wing here, is supposed to be aligned to that. So there you go. It's quite nice. I really like this. And at this mode, you kind of have everything on her. Or you have a complete separation between the frame arms and the girl here. Alright, so for the next mode, it is kind of like a hybrid. And we'll go do that. Alright, so let's take her out. And actually, this is probably a good time to get some of the weapons, since we're going to be dismantling certain parts here. So let's do that. Alright, so again, detach the wrist here. It just makes it a lot easier. Oh, there goes the head. Alright, so just bear with me. We're gonna detach it from here. There we go. And always remove the waist part first, otherwise you're gonna have a problem. Take this out. There we go. Alright. So for her, we're gonna use the hands to hold the weapon, which I have here. Alright. Probably the first weapon we'll try out, if we can get this thing here, is this weapon here. Now you can detach it from this, I think, well, actually over here. There we go. You can detach it from there. Then you have this nifty weapon, which can be an axe or a rifle, depending on where you hold it. But if we hold it from here, it becomes a rifle. And you can even wield it with two hands. Just pull that out here and kind of grab it from with the other hand. So there we go. It's a quite nice rifle right there. Otherwise, there is another weapon set. Alright, so the next weapon will be here. It's kind of like where we have the foot pegs. So this one just detaches from the bottom. Actually, it slides this way. There we go. And you have one for each feet, so you have two of them. And this one, we can just slide this in here on the hand. There we go, and lock it in place. Now you have this quite nice blade, and I really like how it kind of locks in place, as opposed to you have to put the hand on it or force your hand to that. So it's really cool. I like it. I kind of wish the handles are made like that. And lastly, there is another weapon. Well, you could probably make something out of the other section of the body, but to do that we have to really disassemble this. So we're gonna go ahead and take this out, take this segment here, take this segment here. Let's see how this thing is. Take this out, disconnect this section here as well as this one, and basically I'm grabbing the seat itself. Alright, so take that out, and you're gonna have to slide this thing out here. It's probably one of the toughest connection on this particular kit. It's this long peg here, but it just, I guess, creates a lot of friction. Once you've taken that out, you're left with this. Now this one, you can actually pop this down, and you have a handle here. And there's kind of like a barrel here, like a magnum. And with that, actually, let's take this out here. Now we're gonna go ahead and attach this through here. Well, this one does not. This is one where you have to kind of force the girl's hand on it to get a grip, and sometimes you kind of have to wiggle this hand around, trying to get the fingers around it. There we go. Or there is another hand where you have the index finger, I believe, pointing out, but here we go. Now this is quite heavy, and it's just a odd looking thing. Definitely you need to use the like this part here, and I will just connect it here and use the other hand like a support. There we go. So now you have this crazy looking blaster. So you are technically literally making good use of every part of the bike. It's a nice gimmick. I like it. Alright, and moving on. Alright, so the next part, we have to convert her. Alright, so to do that, let me just fix her neck here. We have to remove the arms here, so go ahead and detach it. Now the parts we're gonna swap it with are over here. So we have this particular piece goes on top, and you got the forearm here. I don't think they're side specific, so it can be left and right. And again, it's nice that you already have a spare wrist, so you can just leave it on that. Next up, you do the same thing here. Pop it up, and I put this on. I'm just gonna leave it on that same pose. It'll help us once we put on the bike. It's almost similar. Now the next part is putting this the foot. So we have to dismantle this, and for those who have probably worked on this and just watching my review, I'm doing this backwards, because you start out with the frame arms girl and you work your way having that air bike, or with this. So alright, so for this, I'm gonna go ahead and extend this. There we go. Now this is the back armor, which we're gonna detach. We're gonna remove this, and we're gonna leave this in this position right here. Now we have this leg. We're gonna go ahead and grab this, detach it. We're not gonna be using this lower leg anymore, and we're gonna go ahead and attach it to this. this particular goes to the back. There we go. And we're just gonna slide this up. Now it will have a different connector piece, similar to what we have for the forearm. And the hollow part is always the one that goes on top. Right. So we're just gonna connect this. There we go. So definitely she's gonna be a bit taller. Same thing on the other side. Take this out. We do need the knee section here. Now articulation wise, it'll be the same. Right, where is that other section? All right, so this one, gotta disconnect this as well. Take this out here. Detach. There we go. And I've probably done this twice now, or probably 3 times now. I have to record this review already, but I find it a bit too long, and I did a couple steps, which is a bit redundant. Alright, so I need another piece, which I have here somewhere. Alright, I found it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and attach it here on top first, or on that lower part of the leg. And there we go. Alright, and lastly, we have to swap out the chest. There's actually a separate chest piece right here, which has a bit more elaborate armor design. Quite nice. And actually, her chest, from what I've noticed, it's a bit more developed than the other frame arms girl. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and detach this. Here we go. Sometimes it's hard to take out, sometimes it's easy. Got lucky there. Now you're gonna match the peg. There we go. And that's a nice armor. Alright, so now putting it on to this, let's see here. Now there are a couple of parts. This one here, which we've kind of worked on before, it was attached here. Now it's gonna be moved up here. Yep. Likewise, we're gonna do the same thing for the other side. Just gonna go ahead and attach it. There we go. So again, same configuration for the bike in terms of the handles and everything. And we're just gonna go ahead and attach this into the back again. I'm gonna attach the waist in a bit. And we're just gonna go ahead and position her arms forward. The toes actually is pointing down. There we go. However, here again, mount the connector part on the back side of the seat. And there we go. Right, let me go ahead and attach the hands and the waist. Alright, now again, getting back to this. This goes on to the side of the legs. I guess it doesn't really matter which side you pick on. That's one of the great things about this. Either side works. So it goes to that peg connection there, and it just goes to the side. Same thing on this. Be careful on this. I've unintentionally stabbed myself a couple times for that, or pricked my fingers. There we go. Now we're gonna connect the wings again. This segment, but on this one, I think this one goes here. This connects here again, the side of the booster, and the others goes here. It's kind of weird because this is flat rectangular piece and goes to a circular one, but it does fit. There we go. And sometimes aligning this can be a little tricky, but there we go. And sometimes you want to have it in a certain angle and it won't let you, but there we go. Same thing on the other side. We're just gonna connect this. And attach it to that. There we go. And I think that's it, other than connecting the, oops, this arms here again to the wrist. Alright, so after you're done, you have the Sidewinder mode. Now this is not that different from the air bike, where you have a total separation of the frame arms and the girl. But you know, nonetheless, it's cool. It's a cool transition. And you have these things here that you can move to the side. It's kind of like a wing. Yeah. It's quite interesting. But there you go. I would have to say you gotta be a bit careful on this. I've actually kind of stressed that whole connection there with this wing. Probably I'm not putting it correctly, but yeah, just be careful. But after you have connected everything, it's solid. I mean, everything just holds together, having multiple points of connection. Yeah. So there you go. It's quite nice. Now the next part is basically putting this on her. It's kind of like a bit of a transformer. And we'll see to that. Alright, so let's go do that. Alright, so going back here, I've removed the girl here. And you know, there's a lot of parts. Again, let's remove the waist. Although we are putting it back again. But here, let's just take this out. Now I believe it's gonna be more like this. We're just gonna put the blades on the back, but it could be any configuration you want. This connector here we're not gonna use anymore, and we're basically connecting this to the rest of this here. Take this out here. I believe that is still connected to that part, so we're just gonna leave it to that. But this thing here, it's kind of weird, but we're reattaching it again. Alright, so we take this out from here, and we are going to slide it here. There's a connecting part there. Actually, this one, we're going to put the handlebars in. Yep. And we're going to slide this in here. Now, you have two connection points for this guy here. Alright, so slide this in, then it connects to the peg on the bottom. There we go. Make sure it's all the way in. There we go. Alright, and this just kind of rest here. This one you gotta rotate. There we go. And this basically is the backpack for her. So we'll just set it down here. Now getting back to her, just gonna reposition her. Now articulation wise, it'll be the same. I'm not gonna go through that, you know, with this armor. But for this, we're just gonna go ahead and rotate it. There we go. Now you can leave the spike on, or you can retract it. I'm just gonna go follow the way they have it. It's retracted. Again, be careful on that spike. There we go. Fold this up. Same thing on the toes. Same thing here. We're gonna go flip it over, then rotate it, extend it a little bit. Slide this in, make sure it's all the way to the back. Close enough. It doesn't really retract all the way, but alright, so there we go. Now we'll attach the backpack here, and along with that we're gonna reattach the waist. Now before I do the waisting again, there is a peg connection underneath right there, and that's where we're gonna have this connection point for the stand. Just make sure it's all the way in there. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. There we go. And we're almost got it. Alright. Now, lastly is this blades here. Alright, so for this will be attached here again. And basically you're just gonna go ahead and close this. And I think, yeah, there we go. And we can attach it here. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Obviously, it's up to you if you want to have her hold one of them while the other one is just stashed away. And just gonna make sure everything kind of lines up for the most part. There we go. Another thing that I found is if you put this on, then you're trying to take it out when you're doing the other modes. It's actually, well, this one was, sometimes it's kind of hard to pry on it. Maybe you get lucky like what I just did. But sometimes you just don't have a grip on that. Quick way to fix that, or an easier way, is use blue tack. This kind of gives you a little bit more friction to open it up. So just gonna grab a piece there, and there we go. You can use blue tack, but definitely it wasn't. They should have a little tab here. That way your nail or something can be able to pull it out. But yeah, I just want to point that out. There we go. Right, likewise, I believe, let's see here. Rotate this around here, and there we go. Attach it here onto the side, and there we go. This is basically the Firearms Girl mode, where you have everything on her. Quite nice. And it's a bit weird. You have this kind of like a tail here on the back, and then you have this thing protruding. This kind of looked like a transformer. But it's quite nice. This is probably my favorite Firearms Girl up to date, just because of all the things that you can do with her. A lot of weapons, really cool gimmick, and with the addition of the base, extra wrist joint, and just overall, this is the best one so far. And I would highly recommend for those trying the Firearms Girl to go with this. Although it might be a bit intimidating because of all these extra parts here and there. But definitely this is something that you want to add to your collection for the Firearms Girl. Anyways, that's about it for the Hresvelgr. Hope you guys like it. If you got questions, let me know. So until then, this is Meats. Thanks for watching.